駆け抜け青春スパーキング。
We all met up again in front of the station the following day.
今日は早く来たじゃない。優二律。
Well, yeah, especially after what happened yesterday. So there's no reason to get riled up about it today.
ああいうのは自然発生的なもんすからね。今日はあいにく特にないわね。
And after we went to the trouble of being here, trouble to be here early.
だったらお兄ちゃん、自分から振るしかないよ。
Huh? Well, that's easier said than done. I don't know what to talk about.
ちなみにこういう時はまだ来てない人の話題になることが多いわね。だから昨日は実を言うと遠野くんたちの話で盛り上がってたんですよ。そうそう、リツとラブラブしてて遅くなってるんじゃないってね。
That's terrible. That's terrible to get riled up over. Come on. At least wait until her route. Jesus.
いえ、素晴らしい盛り上がり方です。
Why are you enabling them?
我々、昨日はラブラブしてて遅くなりました。なるほど。
You're saying this in front of Riri? I can't believe this. Don't make things up. Everything was normal. Normal. And hey, Hiragi, don't just go along with it.
遠野先輩がそう言うなら。分かってますよ。あくまでも冗談です。
Or at least that's what you're hoping. Even if you are, that just makes it even harder for us to be late.
まあその辺はいいじゃないか。過ぎたことだ。それより今日はどういう流れで行くんだ、鹿島。祭りの手伝いだもんな。腕が鳴る。
Like so, Shinji changed the subject. He was the proactive type when it came to anything volunteer related. Especially if that volunteering is related to old people or kids. But I couldn't help but think, if only he didn't distrust women. No, he doesn't distrust... Okay, no, he does distrust women. Just not if they're kids or gilfs. I mean, old women. They're different.
そうですね。まずはこれから実行委員会長さんとの顔合わせです。その中で我々がどこまでお手伝いさせていただけるかを話し合う流れになると思います。よし、それじゃあ早速会長さんに会いに行きましょう。
Everyone shouted out, yeah, in unison, just like yesterday. And just like yesterday, there isn't a soundbite of everyone screaming, yeah, in unison. Where's the effort? This part was fun all on its own. I rather enjoyed activities like this. Where's the Kazumi Gakuen Seishun Sparking? Except without the Kazumi Academy part, and it's just the Seishun Sparking, but replace that with yeah. Is that so hard? I already complained about that. Alright, let's go, Kashima.
と言っても約束の時間にはまだありますから、ちょっとここで立ち話でもして時間調整ですね。
All of us showing up early backfired. I was finally in high spirits too.
話す時間ができたっていうことで。
I guess she meant it was good to take things in stride. Yeah, that did sound more youth-like to me. I was sure now was about the only time in our lives we could all meet up and chat for no real reason anyway. Well, actually no. In terms of how would I say in Japanese society, right? Past high school, it's a lot more strict. It's hard to say. I was gonna say surely there would be other times like this, right? And I was going to compare it to me. Alright, I go out with my friends all the time, and sometimes we eat dinner and chat shit. And, you know, it's like, would they not be able to do that? But then I'm thinking, like, okay, well, they're gonna all go to uni, which means they're all gonna be super fucking busy, and they're probably not all going to be going to the same university. And then after they graduate university, they're gonna be working all the time. So, yeah, you know, the whole fucking culture around how busy you kind of have to be, right? It's hard to describe, especially since I don't live in that kind of culture, because then I wouldn't be able to do this. I would have a real job. I mean, on that note, we killed time by chatting away about various topics in front of the station.
いやいや、よく来てくれたね。
We met up with the executive committee chairman at the shrine grounds, which would serve as the festival venue. The president was a seemingly stocky, good-natured older man who appeared to be a representative of the shrine's parishioner. I know the first part of that word, parish, right? I don't know how, you know, how do I lead into that? What's the how do you pronounce the suffix? Parishioner. It doesn't sound right, but I guess.
風見学園青春部です。よろしくお願いします。
何度聞いてもいいね。その部活名はこうあれだよ。おじさんも若い間気分になっちゃうね。
The fact he didn't immediately laugh when he heard youth collective left a positive impression on me.
ありがとうございます。一緒に頑張らせていただけると嬉しいです。
Is the expected reaction to laugh at the name? What do you mean?
それじゃあ早速具体的な話といこうか。君たちには雑務を請け負ってもらいたい。
望むところよ。じゃんじゃんお仕事ちょうだい、おじさん。
元気がいいね。ありがたいね。差し当たっては、備品や景品などの買い出しと整理かな。予算組とリスト化はもうしてあるから、この表の通りに揃えるんだ。
保管場所はどちらになりますか？
君はこういった仕事に慣れてるんだね。
なんせ元ボランティア部の部長ですからね。
なるほどなるほど。そりゃ経験豊富そうだ。だったら当日も備品搬入だけじゃなくて。
はい、前日の設営含めてお手伝いさせてください。
もうそこまでやってくれるか。いや、ありがたいな。何より熱意がいいよね。今年の祭りはいいものになりそうだ。
では前日までは備品を揃えるお手伝い、前日は設営のお手伝い、そして当日は
出店の食材やら景品やらの補充だね。
ゴミの回収なんかもやらせていただけますか？
おお、そりゃ助かるね。いや、本当に熱意満点だ。
Kashima really was incredible, except for the fact that she's only acting this way. She's probably only acting this way because of Hibiki, because she wants to act like Hibiki in a way. She didn't just give punctual answers. She proactively gave suggestions and undertook jobs. Sounds like something Hibiki would do. Our conversation eventually came to an end, and we divided up the work.
では、改めてよろしくお願いね。
はい、こちらこそよろしくお願いいたします。
いやー、本当に助かったよ。人手が足りなくてね、今年は。重ねてありがとう。
And to that response from the executive committee president,
こちらもお手伝いさせていただけてありがたいです。
Kashima replied and reciprocated with a bow of her own. Grateful? I questioned that, or rather, internally tilted my head. Was this like when I was given more shifts at my part-time job? But unlike my job, we wouldn't be compensated for our work. Yet, she was grateful. Very, interesting. Really? Really? Here's what I'm baffled about, right? Because in Hibiki's route, you actively chose to do more shifts at his job. And now in Riri's route, it feels like he sees getting more shifts as a bad thing. And I mean, like, for the normal person, yeah, it would be. But this is you we're talking about. This is the guy who asked for more shifts before Hibiki, complained to the manager, and the manager agreed, right? It feels like you is a completely different person in Hibiki's route as compared to Shiori's and Riri's. Right? I'm not the only one who thinks that, right? Yet she was grateful. There was a feeling behind Kashima's answer that I lacked.
Kakenuke 青春 Sparking.
And I mean, like, obviously, you thinking getting more shifts at his job as a bad thing isn't the only thing that is different from the you of Hibiki's route, right? The whole idea that he is or wants to understand what youth means is completely different from Hibiki you. So it just makes me think, what changed? But what changed in the writing department here? Because, like, who is the real you? And it has to be Hibiki's route, right? Because the you in Hibiki's route lines up a lot closer to the common route you than Shiori and Riri's. Nice, interesting. I don't know. The next day, we started to help out around the festival grounds.
景品仕入れてきたっす。
おお、それじゃあ倉庫に頼むよ。
了解っす。ってわけでもりもり運び入れるわよ。ええ、任せておいて。
うちの女子たちはパワフルだよな。
Well, mainly Nagiko, but sure. If anything, it feels like we should tell them to leave it to us, but...
お兄ちゃんたちだけ作業するなんてずるいよ。ねえ、しおりちゃん。
私は力仕事は無理せず小さなものをお願いしますね。
Yeah, the heaviest thing Shiori is used to lifting is a camera and a laptop. It depends on how beefy her laptop is, but you can they're comparable weights, masses.
私と交換しましょう。鹿島先輩がそう言うなら。
やるっすね、鹿島先輩。そんな重そうなの。確かにね。見た目では箸より重いもの持てなさそうなのに。
伊達にボランティアで鍛えてませんよ。なんて。
Like so, all of us carried the boxes of goods into the storeroom.
テントが6、ポール類はすべて揃っていて。
音響周りもちゃんと動くみたいね。イエーイ。うんうん、いい声ね。この通り。
Well, there's one yay. How about the others?
ありがとうございます。では、PA 設備も問題なし。
Then, on a different day, we checked the furnishing to furnishing to be used the day of the event. Then, on yet another day,
次の土曜日はお祭りでーす。
皆様、ぜひ連れ立ってお越しください。
damn, that means that Riri has until next Saturday for her to consolidate her feelings and actually confess to you. That's not whatever. You know what I mean.
ください。
It'll take. She has until next Saturday to grow balls and confess to him. We handed out flyers at the street corner, or at least, hint to you that she might have feelings for him, and then he might be like, oh, maybe I do like her, or I don't know. How does this work again?
声が小さいよ、しおりちゃん。そうっすよ。もっと大きな声出してアピールしないと。
The only time she does that is when she's in her VTuber model. Using
そう言われても、
her VTuber
こうい
model.
うのこそ小日向さんやカイドウ先輩が向いてるんですけどね。
Well, not much we can do on not much we can do on that front, since they are out running errands.
代わりに私としおりちゃんが来られなかった日、備品チェックやってもらったんだしね。
And then there's Shinji.
女性受けはいいんですけど。
女性がチラシもらいに近寄ってきたら、逃げるのが目に見えてるもんね。
As you could see, not everyone was able to participate in distributing flyers. The best people couldn't do it. Everyone had their hands full now that summer break was in full swing. As such, it was rare for all of our members to come together at once. Had we only managed that on the very first day, I suppose it wasn't an issue, since everyone had let us know in advance, rather than it being a case of people cancelling last minute. Yeah, I know that all too well. I'm laughing because it's an inside joke. Oh, that's right, Kashima. Sorry. I'm afraid I won't be here tomorrow. I couldn't get off of my shift at work.
はい、わかりました。頑張ってくださいね。こちらのことは、こちらでしっかりやっておきますので。
Kashima was the only one who agreed to be present every single day. Although I felt bad, I couldn't help but admire her. On the other hand, it was extremely helpful that she had taken over managing everyone else's attendance. She's doing her best. So on that note, I had work today. Thank you for coming. Phew.
今日は少し気もそぞろだね、遠野くん。
I lost count of how many parties I had sent off for the day. Parties? Yeah. Before the manager stopped me on my way back to the break room.
何か気になっているのかな？
No. I'm sorry to be this way during work, especially since you definitely would not have been like this in Hibiki's route.
いやいや問題ないよ。気はそぞろだけど仕事は完璧だからね。遠野くんを愛する僕だから見抜けたようなものさ。
確かに私には全然わかりませんでした。いつものチーフだなぁと。
He seemingly sees work in Riri's route as a burden instead of an excuse to get out of hanging out with Hibiki. Makes you think. I'm glad to hear that, at least. But yeah, it definitely did weigh on my mind. I wondered if the youth collective would be alright today. I'm sure Kashima is there again today, so I imagine they'll be fine. Although I was concerned about Kashima since she never skipped a day. I'm sure she's sincere yet zealously working her hardest as we speak. And at the end of the day, she will what's the word? She will curl up into the fetal position on her bed and roll around on it talking about how embarrassing she was throughout the entire day. And that will continue on until the festival. I could practically picture it. And that just made me even more concerned. I'd better get in touch with her when my shift ends.
おっと、またお客さんがいらしたね。それじゃあよろしく頼むよ、二人とも。
Please leave it to us, sir. Until then, I needed to focus on work. I had to make sure to do my job perfectly since I had massively cut back on my shifts. Thank you for your hard work. I'm heading out first. Now then. Once work was over, I wasted no time messaging Kashima over Lin. Good work. And sorry about today. I'm off work. How are things on your end, Send? I wasn't opposed to running over to help if she needed it. With that thought in mind, I waited for a reply before heading home when... Oh. Is it like a... It's either going to be like, I appreciate it, please help, or no, I'm fine, right? Because she doesn't want to burden him. And Kashima promptly responded,
お疲れ様です。こちらも今さっき終わったところです。
Oh, it's neither of them. I see. Then. Got it. I can make it tomorrow, so I'll see you then. Wait. I changed my mind before I sent my reply. If Kashima was finishing up her work for the day, then... Want to chat? Oh, we went at the same place. Same place as last time. You didn't hear anything. I retyped and sent my message. Riri
びっくりしました。
would accept in a heartbeat. Kashima showed up shortly after I had settled in at our meeting spot.
まさか遠野くんの方から先に誘ってもらえるなんて。
Meaning you were going to ask me the same thing?
はい。実は。
Really? Yeah, this works out perfectly then. Especially since you're the main heroine of this route. For now, here, something to drink. It's no apology. It's no apology for not being able to make it today, though.
すみません。お気遣いを。
Kashima bowed her head and took the drink from me. The way she acted, it seemed like she would offer to pay, but Kashima seemed like she understood how I felt. As usual, Kashima spread out a handkerchief and sat beside me.
改めてお疲れ様です。
Right back at you. How did things go without me?
今日は参加人数少なかったです。でも前日までにしておかないといけない準備はだいぶ片付いてきました。
Really? I'm glad to hear that.
あとは少しだけ残っている作業をして会長さんに当日の心得を伺うくらいですね。
Guidelines for the day of the event. The festival's only 2 days away, huh? Oh, I made sure to get tomorrow and that day after. And that day after? The day after off from work, so everything should be fine.
それは助かります。
More like, you're there every single day. I feel guilty. I bowed my head. This was something I absolutely had to say to her today. Which was the whole reason why I had called her out here today.
いえいえ、好きでやらせていただいていることですから。
Kashima waved her hands and smiled sweetly. Not just that.
お手伝いさせてもらえるのは本当にありがたいですしね。
She had something similar before. She really was grateful, huh?
それじゃあ飲み物いただきますね。どうかしましたか？
Oh, nothing. Was this a good opportunity? I may as well ask about it. I may as well ask about that. What does that matter? What does that mean? When you say you're grateful to be allowed to help, You said that at the start, but I don't really know what that means.
そんなに変でしょうか。
Oh, it's not that it's weird. How can I put it? It's like some idea of or impression I don't have.
そうなんですか？
Yeah, is that what it is? Sort of like when I'm able to take lots of shifts at work. Okay, so he does have that mentality, except that he sees it as a bad thing in this route. I'm grateful to bring in relatively more income. Is it similar?
遠野くんらしいですね。その捉え方。
Was that wrong then?
はい。ちょっと違います。
I mean, true enough. It's not like helping with the festival pays anything.
でも、ある意味では、遠野くんの言うような感覚に近いのかもしれません。
In a sense, you mean? In a sense, meaning...
機会をいただけてるわけですから。
an opportunity to help.
はい。ですから、お手伝いさせてもらえてありがたいっていうのは、そのままの意味ですよ。
I mean, I know Riri grew up in a rich family, right? And she has that air of nobility around her, right? So is it a situation of, you know, the family has maids and Riri wants to help out the maids or something of sorts, and, you know, for whatever reason, right, whether the maids are how do I say, they don't want to burden Riri. I've been using that word a lot for some fucking reason. It's kind of the appropriate word in the situations I've been putting them in, or like, you know, they don't want to risk losing their job or whatever the fuck. And so every time Riri wanted to help out the maids, she always got turned down or something like that. So now that she's grown up and is able to help, she feels grateful for, I don't know her situation. I tipped back my bottle. I mean, surely it is that. Just maybe it's not maids, right? Maybe it's her parents, right? She wanted to help her parents, but her parents didn't want her help or something like that. But now she's able to help someone else, she's grateful for that. Or I don't know. I ruminated over her words, but it still didn't make much sense to me. Is that right? Still, that was all I could say.
はい。そうです。
Don't worry, I'm sure we'll understand what she actually means by what she said when we actually start dating her. She nodded and tipped back her own bottle. Or maybe it'll happen before we start dating her during the confession. She will not only confess why she feels grateful, but also that she loves you. As soon as she did. Huh? What's that reaction about?
ごめんなさい。失礼しました。
Kashima turned bright red and wiped her mouth.
炭酸飲料だとは思ってなくて。
I see. Do you not deal with that? Do you not deal well with carbonated drinks?
はい。ごめんなさい。せっかく買っていただいたのに。
Is it because the carbonation would make her burp and that would be unladylike? Something like that? No. I'm the one who's sorry. The thought never occurred to me. I have tea, so do you want this instead? What? Indirect kiss?
いえ、なんでも。じゃあ、いただきます。
Sure. Customer swapped my tea for her carbonated drink.
いただきます。
Yeah. She was drinking it rather deliberately. It's not like that one is carbonated. I put my mouth back to my bottle as that thought crossed my mind. The refreshing carbonation fizzed its way down my throat. I guess this must be overstimulating if you're not used to it. Kashima seemed to be the type who rarely indulged in carbonated drinks. She did seem to have a rather sophisticated upbringing. That was when I suddenly noticed Kashima had tasted this too. No, do not fucking bring this up. This is the third fucking time this has happened. Which meant that she had put her mouth on this very same bottle. And I put my mouth on that bottle. And she was currently drinking from a bottle I had put my mouth on earlier. Was this an shut up! Indirect kiss?
やっぱり
Why is it lagging? Yeah.
私はお茶の方が合ってるみたいです。美味しいです。
I see. She wasn't self-conscious about that. No, she is. She's just not pointing it out, like you are. I was hoping that you wouldn't point it out, because Riri wasn't pointing it out. And I'm glad that she wasn't pointing it out, because even though she was embarrassed about it, pointing it out is fucking retarded. Pointing it out is dumb. Is immature. That's the word I was trying to find. I guess that makes me the oddball for worrying about it. Yeah, it does. But the problem is that she's also worrying about it. It's just that, you know, just like you, she's only thinking about it and isn't really voicing it. Yeah, I'd imagined it was fairly common for friends to share drinks. Well, that's because she has a crush on you. That just means Kashima let her guard down around me. Or so I would assume. It would be a waste for me to get pointlessly self-conscious about that. As such, I decided to drink without letting it bug me. Don't worry, we're gonna get a fucking scene of Kashima's room and she's gonna be rolling on over the bed thinking about the indirect kiss. I hate it, but it's gonna happen. What is it?
いえ、なんでも。あ、明日、明後日、改めてよろしくお願いしますね。
You know, unless they fucking squashed the tension beforehand. Yeah, right back at you. I'll make up for what I missed today.
今日の分はこの飲み物で十分に。
Talk about cheap. A whole day's worth of work for only 150 yen is a steal. Is a steal.
いえ、そういうわけじゃなくて。
Just kidding. That does help though.
もう、遠野くん
Kashima turned beet red and held a fist over my head. Hey, was that something to get so angry over?
遠野くんが自分を安い男の人みたいに言うからです。
I'm kidding. It's just a joke, really.
許しません。
We proceeded to laugh it off, almost like we had been playing a prank on one another. We finished our drinks and parted ways. Yeah, I had to put in a real effort starting tomorrow. God damn it! I was hoping we wouldn't get this. Later that night, I spent the whole time hugging my pillow and rolling around in my room. After all.
関節キスしちゃいました。
Did I not
遠野くんと。
fucking call this shit out? I told you we'd get a scene where she's rolling around on her fucking bed, thinking about the indirect kiss. Why did I have to be right?
しかも、遠野くんから呼んでくれて。
I fucking willed it into existence. This scene didn't exist until I thought about it. What should I do? This was amazing. I was so happy. I was happy. So happy. My face was on fire just thinking about it, and I couldn't help but roll around and scream. But
遠野くんの方は、普通でしたよね。
he just didn't blush like you did.
意識してたのは、私だけで、きっと、遠野くんにとっては、普通のことだったんですよね。友達と回し飲みみたいにするのは、友達。
I made myself depressed with my own comment. But wait a second, Very. There was no way Tono would do that with just anyone. That had to mean that I was special to him if only a little.
小日向さんとも普通にやる気がする。
Well, there is one person he would do it with. It's Ritsu. Except that he wouldn't be as self-conscious about it because he only thinks of her as his sister.
もちろん、りっちゃんとも。
See? It may not have been special to him. But as far as I was concerned, my heart pounded loudly as I put a finger to my lips. My lips, where the aftertaste of that moment still lingered. That absolutely made me scream. Maybe keep screaming and rolling around. Listen, I understand that these are high school kids, right? Quote unquote high school kids because they're meant to be 18, right? Except here's the thing. What is the target audience of this visual novel? And every single other visual novel with H scenes in it? I'll give you a hint. They're over the age of 18. Which means that they're adults, which means that they aren't in high school. And I understand that the whole reason why this genre is so popular of having characters in high school is because the adults that are consuming this content want to relive their glory days of when they were in high school, right? But that doesn't mean that every single fucking time every single fucking time the main character shares a bottle that they drank from with the main heroine, that they need to constantly point out that they had a indirect kiss. Alright? 3 fucking times, and it's going to happen again. I swear to God. Hopefully, with Kika, he'll make fun of you for being self-conscious about it. Alright? Because that didn't happen with Hibiki. Or, well, here's the thing. I don't remember. Because there are other problems that I had with Hibiki's route than her being self-conscious over a quote-unquote indirect kiss. That absolutely made me keep screaming and rolling around. That had to stay in this moment. Yeah, that had to stay. Tomorrow, I would start anew and treat him normally. Of course, I did hope I was on I was on his mind a little though.
今度は私が踏み込みたいけど。
I did believe I needed to do so in stages. It may have been indirect, but a kiss was was too sudden.
そう、少しずつ。だから例えば。駆け抜け青春、スパーキング。
Preparations the day before the festival went off without a hitch. On that note, once the day changed over, it would finally be time for the big event. A youth collective gathered in front of the station like usual early in the morning, but... Huh? Hibiki, you can't make it today?
ごめん。昨日かき氷10杯食べたのがまずかったのかも。
You didn't think twice after like the fourth or fifth one? 10? Talking about a glutton.
お腹が。まずい。また生まれる。そういうわけで本当にごめんね。
Seriously. She'd have a massive fucking sugar high after like the fifth one, so I guess it's understandable that she would keep going until she crashed after the 10th one. Ritsu was expected to be absent today as well, as she had her hands full with the supermarket's once-a-month bargain sale. Oh, that one's understandable. Which was fine, since she had let us know in advance. But I couldn't believe Hibiki would be absent on the same day too. Kashima, anyway. Kashima?
カイドウ先輩、急遽欠席だそうです。
Huh?
道場の方で、どうしても外せない用事ができてしまったそうで。
Which means... hey, it's you, Shinji. Hello.
悪い俺今日休む
Hey, what's wrong?
父さんに今日は家の手伝いをしろって言命されて祭りの客を見込んで気合い入れろってすまない
Shinji's family ran a bathhouse, and his father was a strict old-fashioned man. If his father gave him orders, there was no way Shinji could sneak away. Got it. We'll do what we can on our end, so do your best.
ほんとすまない親友よみんなにもよろしく言っておいてくれ
Everyone else, that was easier said than done. Kashima, Shinji's also going to be...
はい、わかりました。大丈夫です。こっちは任せておいてください。はい、では。
Kashima had apparently taken a phone call in the meantime, and... Kashima? Could it be...
柊さんも欠席です。なんでも取引先がどうのと。
Really? So what you're saying is that it's only going to be Riri and you? What a coincidence. Hey... Were we stuck with a three-person system today? Just as I was about to shout that, I got a message on Lynn.
自分今日は欠席ですいませんっす。
Yeah, I called that one. There's a reason I only said Riri and you, and definitely not because I forgot that Kika exists. I definitely didn't say that it was only going to be Riri and you because I forgot Kika.
事情はちょっとあれなんすけど、とにかくすいません。
Right. Right. Kika... He was definitely, like, fucking hiding out somewhere, seeing if other people are going to show up. And since, yeah, now that she sees it's only going to be Ritsu and you, she's like, we can't... I'm gonna let these two have some alone time together.
遠野くん、まさか。
Because that's exactly something Kiko would do. Kashima.
はい。
It looks like we're going to have to do our best on our own today. I had to imagine that each individual member probably thought, I'm only one person. I'm sure they'll be fine. Who could have thought that would happen 6 different times? That left us with 2 out of 8, a fourth of our regular forces.
でも、仕方ありませんよね。今日は残る私たちで一生懸命頑張りましょう。
Yeah, you're right. We couldn't afford to flee here either. If anything, it would spell trouble if we didn't at least cover for the 6 who couldn't make it. Let's do our best, Kashima.
二人で。
Yeah, together. All by ourselves. Why do you sound kind of happy about it?
いえ、なんでもありません。
Why'd you have to point it out? Did she want things to be difficult? Was she a masochist? I mean, maybe in the bedroom. I couldn't help but think that.
とにかく、今日はよろしくお願いします。
Yeah, right back at you. She bowed her head in an overly serious fashion to me, and I nodded courteously in return. True enough, this was no time to be poking fun. What I really had to do was to be more serious than usual today. With that being the case, Kashima and I made our way to the venue at the shrine grounds.
今日は2人になっちゃったのかい。
はい、申し訳ありません。
Yeah, most of them seemed intentional. Seemed accidental, and one definitely seems planned.
ですが、今日の我々の担当は足りなくなった備品の補充がメインです。二人でフル稼働しますので、どうかご安心ください。
鹿島さんがそう言うなら任せるけど、くれぐれも無理のないようにね。水分補給はしっかりと。はい、
ありがとうございます。
The committee president was such a nice person to not blame us and to actually express concern for our well-being. I mean, to be fair, from the very start, he didn't expect there to be 8 volunteers, you know, especially young volunteers. I wanted to live up to such a person's trust. This was where the youth collective had to stand firm. All right, Kashima, let's divide up the labor and get straight to work.
その前に私、着替えてきていいですか？たくさん汗をかきそうですし、動きやすい格好の方がいいでしょうから。
Oh, that idea didn't even occur to me.
ごめんなさい、自分ばっかり。
No, I'm fine with it, really. This is an important point for a woman, particularly since Kashima was currently in a skirt. She could draw unwanted attention if she were to carry around cardboard boxes and whatnot, dressed like that. For that matter, it just sounded difficult to do.
はい、そういうわけですみませんが、パパッと着替えてきますので、ちょっと待っててくださいね。
Kashima quickly returned wearing light clothes, namely a t-shirt and shorts. Now it was finally time to get to work. The action committee would ensure the festival and its security made headway, so we primarily worked on inventory replenishment and garbage collection. Oh my god.
次は、トノくん。
Is this really the angle they're going for? Not complaining though. The crowd has really grown. I got garbage collection taken care of over here as first priority. Well, I guess this isn't this is not the festival that Riri is going to confess to you at. It's going to be a different festival. The main one that Hibiki and Shiori confessed at. Also, the children-sponsored water balloon fishing event is about to run out of supplies.
わかりました。ではそちらを私が手配します。
You need more water balloons. Please do. I'm going to deal with the garbage over there.
よろしくお願いします。
Unfortunately, we weren't able to work together, and I wasn't able to get more Riri ass. Sad day for all of us. We rushed around the venue and occasionally bumped into each other long enough to check on the other's progress. Never mind, we got more.
次は
Perfect timing, Kashima. I got drinks from the committee president.
すみません。ありがとうございます。これだけ汗かいてるんだから、水分補給は大事ですよね。
Yeah, exactly. It's all for nothing if either of us pass out. Also, I made sure to get you something non-carbonated, so don't worry.
ありがとうございます。助かりました。そちらはどうですか？
I guess you could call things stable at the moment. It seems like a lull. There's supposed to be another rush of people. I'm sure it'll get busy again.
じゃあ、ますます今のうちに水分補給しておかないとですね。では、いただきます。どうしたんですか？
Oh, nothing. To think I, of all people, would remember the indirect kiss from the other day. It was honestly pretty embarrassing how much I'd been thinking about it. Yeah, it is. Just stop thinking about it. I thought you were meant to be an adult. Well, 18 is pushing it to be considered an adult. However, I pushed those thoughts aside and gulped down the rest of my drink. And then I got right back to work. Just as she'd said, it felt like we'd reached the peak. The grounds were packed with people, and it was hard work carrying supplies around. On top of that, the amount we had to restock increased, and Kashima and I were making non-stop round trips before between the storehouse and venue.
遠野くん。
Oh, Kashima, you're working up a sweat. It's really gotten hot out here.
そういう遠野くんもすごい汗ですよ。
I'm used to working, but my regular workplace is air conditioned.
でも、こういうのも気持ちいいですよね。
Does it? Yeah, you said it.
それじゃあ私、婦人会さんの在庫補充してきます。
The only thing keeping me from dying of a heat stroke and giving up halfway through is being able to stare out your ass, Riri. Well, I mean, yeah. This feels nice. Working out in the summer heat, dying. I'm restocking ingredients at the takoyaki shop.
まだまだこれからですね。
Yeah. So let's both give it our all. Give it all we've got. That trend continued for some time, with neither of us having the opportunity to stop and take a break. It was out of our hands though. After all, we were at 1/4 of our total manpower. The two of us had to cover 6 additional people's worth of work. So we wiped away our sweat and focused on the task at hand. I'd imagine Kashima was just as sweaty as I was at this point. The next time we run into each other, I might have her take a slightly extended break. Or so I thought to myself when...
お疲れ様です、遠野くん。
Yeah, Oh yeah. I was waiting for this to happen. I just didn't mention it. I forgot to. I let out a bizarre exclamation. Come on. I couldn't help it. Kashima's t-shirt was so soaked with sweat, it was see-through. I could even see what style and color her bra was.
どうしたんですか？変な遠野くん。
What's more, Kashima seemed completely oblivious to it. So, well, it wasn't quite a reason, but I just happened to... Don't need x-ray when you can see straight through her shirt. My eyes were drawn to Kashima's chest. Man, they're huge. That looks pretty heavy, Riri. Can I help in supporting your massive box in your hands? Yeah. Nothing else. I wasn't thinking of anything else. I mean, I could tell her chest was huge through her normal everyday attire. However, seeing her damn breasts through her see-through shirt like this, they seem bigger and sexier than usual. Because you're imagining her in her bra, it's without the shirt on. It's pretty obvious why she would look sexier when you can see her bra. And the only problem is that the shorts aren't see-through as well. Missed opportunity once again. She noticed. Kashima looked down at her chest, then instantly flared red. Then she crossed her arms over her breasts in a panic. But what about the box in your hands? Oh no, you're gonna drop all that stuff on the ground. Anyway, Riri, look, your tits look pretty heavy. You mind if I help? Never mind. Sorry. My face went just as red as her. My face went just as red as her bra. I mean, pink as her bra. I mean, I can't see the color of. It was a little late at this point, but I spun around on my heel in an exaggerated fashion and did nothing but apologize. I couldn't believe I wound up staring. Yeah, pretty hard. She fucking noticed. Sorry, I'm really sorry. But you know, it was a pretty good. I would have stared even more if you didn't notice.
こちらこそ申し訳ないです。お恥ずかしいところを。私ちょっと T シャツ着替えてきますね。
Right. You can take a quick break while you're at it. I mean, until you stop sweating. Or even better, you can keep sweating through your other shirt until it's also see-through. That would be mighty inconvenient. Neither of us could look the other in the face. This was beyond embarrassing. Yeah. The customer scurried away. That left me feeling, how could I put this, like I had screwed up royally, pun intended, because she's, never mind. No, it was more of an act of God. Okay, well, she isn't that high on the status pole, on the social pole. Anyway, she was flustered. I can't believe Kashima turned so bright red. Just as red as her bra. I already made that joke. I tried not to think about it, but Kashima really is a woman. Is that really what got you thinking of her as a woman? That you could see how big her tits are? Like how big you could really see it? Never mind. After what had happened, we could hardly face each other. We focused on our individual tasks. Maybe more accurately, I dove headfirst into work, as if it would help me forget what had happened before. Soon enough, it was nearing the end of the festival. And then... Phew, it looks like we got through it okay.
ですね。よかったです。
With all of our work complete, we got changed out of our sweat-drenched clothes and met up. Actually, Kashima was the one to get changed. Anyhow, good work, Kashima.
はい、お疲れ様でした。
I really commend you for giving you that boost of motivation in the middle of it, you know? You may not have done it intentionally, but, well, it helped. Kashima refused to maintain direct eye contact with me. I was still a bit uneasy myself. Still, though, shouldn't I at least say something to her? Kashima, I really am truly sorry for before. Your tits are really big. I mean, I'm sorry for staring so hard. I mean,
私こそ本当にごめんなさい。その、見苦しいもの。
there's no way you would ever be unsightly. Better yet, I would have preferred if you didn't wear a shirt at all. Never mind. I didn't state in character. I blurted that out without thinking. Crap. It felt like I'd really put my foot in my mouth this time. Sorry, I just, you looked a lot hotter without the, you looked a lot hotter if you were just in your bra. I mean, your tits look a little, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna make the same joke again. But if you need someone to help hold your tits up, it would probably be a good idea if you... It would probably be a good idea for you to be more careful going forward, though. Unless, you don't mind you staring at your tits like that again. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
はい。気をつけます。でも、どうのか。
What is it?
見苦しくなかったのなら、よかったです。
So, like, does that mean you'll let me see them again? I mean, does that mean you'll make the same mistake again? I mean, does that mean you'll do it again in private? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. What did that mean? I was suddenly tongue-tied. Kashima blushed and hung her head as well. Even so, I felt compelled to say something. Well, I guess you could say it's too tempting.
はい、そうですよね。私たち、そういう年頃ですもんね。
More or less. Yeah, they're at the age to have sex, but also but are still immature enough to think about indirect kisses. It was embarrassing to have this conversation with a girl. I didn't really want to dwell on those sorts of topics too much, but Kashima's huge breasts are to blame. They're so big. Almost too big. That random thought happened to pop into my head. My face was getting redder by the second. I will refrain from making the same joke. I couldn't even get any words out anymore. It strongly imprinted upon me that Kashima was a member of the opposite sex.
いやーいやー、遠野くんに鹿島さん、お疲れ。
What are you two over there floating about? That was when the festival's executive committee president came over. Honestly, what a lifesaver. The way things were going, I wouldn't have known how to fill the time.
はい、お疲れ様です。
Good work. Our cheerful responses were in stark contrast to our earlier silence. With that, the president smiled widely at us.
二人とも今日はありがとね。本当に助かったよ。
お役に立てたならよかったです。
Kashima smiled happily and responded in kind. And that wasn't all.
こちらこそ手伝わせていただけてありがとうございました。
With that, she expressed her gratitude and bowed. Like those were her honest feelings from the bottom of her heart. Kashima. I'd asked her before what she had meant, and Kashima had answered that it was the exact meaning it had sounded like. She really meant exactly what she said. Kashima's beaming smile made that fully clear to me. More like, I fully deeply understood that now. Kashima can work hard for other people. No, she's the sort of woman who wants to work hard. There was no other reason she would thank him for letting her help. At the very least, I wouldn't be able to say that. She's incredible. I genuinely thought that. But at the same time, but if helping others comes first to her, what about her own youth? That question suddenly occurred to me. We left the shrine and headed home together.
改めて、今日はお疲れ様でした、遠野くん。
When we reached the station, Kashima said that and bowed her head to me. Yeah, good work, Kashima.
遠野くん、どうかしたんですか？
Huh? Oh, nothing. Crap. I apparently hadn't gotten that question from earlier out of my mind. I thought I was the kind of person who wouldn't let that show on my face. Had I been slacking off lately? Or had Kashima gotten sharper? No, it's because you're thinking of her as a member of the opposite sex and now you're developing feelings for her. Either way, I had no choice but to answer now that she had asked. Well, I thought it was kind of strange.
不思議ですか？
Yeah, Kashima. Remember what you said to the committee president earlier? You told him, thank you for letting us help.
はい、言いましたけど。それも、そのままの意味ですよ。
Yeah, I know that too. You said before that it came from the bottom of your heart. All the more reason it brought a question to my mind.
どんなですか？聞かせてください。私、師匠の師匠ですから、答えられることなら。
What about your youth?
え？
You want to work hard for others. I know you feel that way from the bottom of your heart. I honestly think that's incredible, but knowing that's the case,
はい。
isn't that like setting your own youth aside? Kashima's eyes widened at my question. However, her gaze quickly narrowed, and a bittersweet smile suddenly arose to her lips.
遠野くん、
Yeah?
そう考えるの、遠野くんらしいですね。大丈夫なのかって、心配してくれてるんですよね。
Huh? How should I put it? Is that what it was? I wasn't entirely sure myself. I was just oddly embarrassed that Kashima had taken it that way. And she responded to me by,
ありがとうございます。
as I expected, she thanked me and broke into a smile. The kind of smile that made my heart skip a beat for an instant. Her lips smiled so broadly.
では、お答えします。大丈夫ですよ。これが、私の青春ですから。
Yeah, but that doesn't explain anything. It's the same thing as, you know, when you brings up why you say thank you for letting us help, and you say it's exactly what it sounds like. It's like, okay, and you why, you know? Why is it your youth? Why are you thankful for letting people let you help them? I gulped. At her clear answer and radiant smile, it was not a clear answer. To her, youth means working hard for others. There were people with that mindset. That was truly amazing, wasn't it?
ちょっと、 恥ずかしいですけど、そんな感じです。
Kashima smiled bashfully. Dazzling. My heart pounded and skipped another beat. Kashima was amazing. That was what I genuinely believed. Enough it permeated me. Yeah, it permeated. Really? Does that word fits in that sense? I don't know. And maybe that was why. My heart won't stop racing. What was this? What in the world had I done? I felt so sensitive, severely embarrassed. My eyes quickly darted away from Kashima's face.
遠野くん？
I mean, I was the one who posed that question to her, so now I was just being rude. Although that was how I felt, I couldn't look at her. What was this? Seriously, what was wrong with me? No, that didn't matter right now. Anyway, I had to say something. Oh, I see. So, by the way, I guess this means we've wrapped up one of our big plans. Before I knew it, I had forced a change of subject.
そうですね。これで一段落ってところですね。
Kashima answered normally, not particularly bothered. As that oddly reassured me. I can't help but wonder what we're going to do starting tomorrow.
あ、そうですよね。明日からの予定は特に決まってなかったですし。
Yeah, well, it wouldn't feel right to discuss that by ourselves, but how can I put it? Yeah, I thought maybe we could toss out some ideas we had in mind. Once that word came out, I let the momentum carry me. For my nerves, that was the suggestion I made. Even I wondered if that was the sort of thing to say here. But it was better than falling silent.
そういうことでしたら。
Then, as one might expect, Kashima took my incoherent suggestion head on, and I found that oddly reassuring. However... Huh? Kashima? Why was her face getting red? Did I say something strange? I mean, I had, but it shouldn't have been anything that would have elicited that sort of response.
でしたら。
Yes, ma'am? I was overwhelmed by how vigorously Kashima suddenly whipped her head up, and I couldn't help but give that overly polite response. Kashima said to me,
うちに遊びに来ませんか?
Oh! Like I said before. How bold of you. Well, that's not the exact words I said, but you know, same thing. Pardon? She practically shouted that suggestion as she blushed red up to her ears.